Welcome to the Better Than Yesterday Everyday podcast, where we cover anything related to behavior change that will increase your long-term wellness and happiness. And now, here are your hosts, personal trainer and RNs, Matt and Jenna Lane.
Oh, we're finally here. Hey, I am Matt.
And I'm Jenna.
Man, I'm so excited about this. Welcome to the first episode of the Better Than Yesterday Everyday podcast. We've been working on this for so long. I'm so happy to get this going. This podcast is all about behavior change, mental fitness. If you are working on your overall wellness and happiness, then you have found the right podcast. Every week, this is going to be a 30 to 45 minute show, and we're going to bring on people that are not in the health and wellness industry. We want to bring on people that are working on self-improvement, working on their own happiness, so they can bring value to you. That I truly want to just bring value to you. I'm also a YouTuber, so I might repurpose some of my own content in an audio fashion. If it's going to bring you value, I'm going to bring it to you.
We're also going to be using a lot of our real life examples of things that we've struggled with, things that we've overcome, and life experiences that we think would add value that you guys would want to listen to.
I'm so excited to start this. I really am. There's so many people that are behind us and in our corner. We're very fortunate. This episode is the first episode in truly painting the picture of who we are, and we really hope that you'll go along this journey with us. We know there's going to be a lot of evolution, and we're super excited about it. And I don't know if we mentioned it. We're husband and wife, by the way.
That's right.
Anyway, there is a portion of the show where we hit you with our gratitude, and that's that time. You know, every day I journal, and I come up with at least 3 gratitude points, and today it was definitely the feeling and knowing that I have the ability to do exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting next to my wife in a studio that we've made with the ability to spread this message and reach people, and I love that. I love that I have that ability, and I'm very grateful for it.
You took mine.
Crap.
But to expand on that, you know, even just a couple years ago, I can't imagine that I would have been open to converting our dining room into a podcast studio. And especially not after having converted our beautiful guest room into your studio with your giant green screen. It's been a long evolution, a long time coming, and probably slower than you wish.
No, you've done really well evolving and putting up with me. So again, this episode is getting to know us, who we are. My name is Matt Lane. I started MattLaneFitness in 2017 with my wife. I started MattLaneFitness as a personal trainer and a behavioral change specialist with the focus to approach the world and try to benefit people through fitness, through wellness, make it attainable, and honestly to keep people out of the healthcare system.
And we're both nurses, and we've both been in the healthcare field for both of us each over 10 years. Yeah. And so we've seen that aspect of it for a long time. I think that's part of our mission, is to affect people before they get into that need for healthcare. There's a lot of things you can do years and years ahead of time to keep you from needing healthcare so heavily. And it's not just about your physical fitness, it's about your mental fitness too.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we should sort of paint the picture of how are we qualified to talk about fitness. Yes, we're registered nurses, and I am a personal trainer, but we both have our own story that's been completely separate, really, when it came to fitness. In 2011, I was quote unquote jumped in a parking lot. I was in an altercation that luckily didn't get physical, but we squared up our dukes in a parking lot, me and this guy, and I realized I could have very easily been killed. He was much bigger than me, and I got in the gym the very next day. How old was I then? I was 20, 21. And the whole goal was just to get bigger, and then it eventually turned in after 8 months of going solid every single day for 5 days a week with Eric Bowles, a good friend of mine still to this day. It became an obsession. I saw my body changing, and at first I was just really excited to gain muscle and gain size as a young kid. And then I have started evolving. It actually went into a bad place. I became very, very body conscious, and I was never big enough, that bigorexia. And it's formed all the way now into pushing me to be better than yesterday every day, hence the name of the show. And I'm so grateful for fitness because it has truly been what has transformed my life. I always go back to fitness in that it's what's made me what I am, who I am, how I am, and who knew this much longer I'd be sitting here talking about it. And it's evolved. I became a nurse and then got into the ICU and took care of people, and I realized that almost 80% of the people that I saw, it was all self-induced problems that could be avoided if they would have been fit or been well or been proactive. And when I saw that, I realized that I had to run at this message. I felt this thing pulling me, this voice, this message, this thing. And that's what I'm doing. I'm chasing towards that. And then we've been together now for, well, no, how long?
10 years next month.
10 years next month. And Jenna has a completely different story. You would think that, becoming a personal trainer and all that it would just work really well, but it's actually been all on Jenna.
Yeah, I was pretty resistant to the changes that you were making because that inconvenienced me, and I just am very resistant to change. I like to stay in my comfort zone. So while Matt was working on his fitness and getting all buff and all that, I was very resistant to continuing my routine, which was fast food, overindulgence, just whatever I felt like I deserved, I ate or bought, and I got myself into a lot of debt and very overweight and very unhappy. But luckily, Matt was persistent, and I hate cooking, so I started eating his meal preps, and not even trying. I started losing weight because I was eating healthy food rather than Wendy's or Subway every day for lunch, and that just started a very slow change. I was very resistant to it the entire way. I fought it the whole way. Mm-hmm. Matt was very kind and, encouraged me to go to the gym, and was never negative, but I hated going to the gym every time I went with you.
Yeah, we did go a few times, and that was quite comical.
Yeah, because I hated it. I really felt like I was uncomfortable and stuck out, and it was more of like a public shaming experience than a positive experience for me. But as I've opened up mentally and really started to enjoy my own fitness routine, I think it's really helped me mentally as well. And now I do a fitness routine 5 days a week in our home, and that's actually helped you build a new program, an at-home program for people who detest the gym as much as I do.
Exactly. Yeah, by the time this recording is out, I would imagine that I've released that program. So in the course of my fitness journey, I've gained about 40 pounds. And all of that was not muscle, but a good portion of it was muscle. And you went the other way. You lost now, is it 45?
I've lost 40 pounds.
40 pounds. Yeah. I mean, how different of worlds. And so I do run a YouTube channel called MattLaneFitness. And basically it's obviously visual, but I wanted to create a podcast, and we both have wanted to start doing something together. I've wanted to implement Jenna into this because she has a female voice. She has a different perspective. The journey she's traveled, she has such different and awesome perspective than I can relay. And also this show, I'm super excited. I have many, many people that I want to bring on to this show. And like I said, not all of them are going to be in healthcare. Not all of them are going to be into fitness, but self-improvement, behavior changes, what I want this thing to be about. I want you to walk away and be like, oh, that's an actionable point that I can actually do something with.
Yeah, and I think, so most of our lineup of our first several guests are people in your circle that you've surrounded ourselves with that have really helped contribute to our mental change, our lifestyle change. And I think it makes total sense to bring them on because those are the people that we have the most personal experiences with. But there are also some people that you wouldn't expect to have connected with to really make that lifestyle change that we've been able to make.
That's true. That's true. And you're talking about not expecting to connect with these people. It's interesting that, again, not even in the fitness realm, but because of fitness, my brain has expanded so much from, like, I was working on an art degree before I got into fitness. And I don't say that as a negative thing. I love the arts. I actually pride myself on being artistic. But I guess I just never thought of myself as an intelligent person. And maybe I still feel that way, but honestly, what fitness did was it gave me such gumption or the ability to keep pushing. And, I went and got my nursing degree, and that was like the highlight of my life. Like when I did that, it really unlocked some doors. But at the end of the day, I realized, man, I would have never done that had it not been for fitness. It changed my life, like I've already said. We are gonna have some recurring questions, and I do want to start introducing them now. Jenna, I'm going to ask you, what is something that you still struggle with to this day? After how long have you been into fitness now?
Consistently about 1.5 years.
Okay.
Anxiety, for sure.
Anxiety about what?
Just everything, anything. Anxiety is something that's I deal with all day, every day of my life. And fitness has certainly helped me with that because it's meditation and motion.
Yeah, I like that. And
it really helps me clear my head. I have a problem with anxiety in the morning, thinking about what's going to happen during the day and overthinking it. When overthinking it doesn't change anything that's going to happen in the day, it just makes me have a headache and not enjoy what I could during the day. So before I leave the house in the morning, I get my 20-minute workout in. And, my goal is to, work my body out hard enough that I can't concentrate on anything else other than the workout. And I think anxiety is something that I'm always going to struggle with.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that I can bring to the table too. I think there's maybe sometimes people don't realize that anxiety is something that's contributing to whatever their struggle is. And I'm almost ashamed to admit that it took me until I was in my 30s, which means I was in the healthcare profession for over 10 years before I realized that I had pretty significant anxiety. And that was a really big aha moment for me to realize that if I got that under control a bit better, I could really change my focus and my outlook on life.
You know what's interesting, though, because we've been together for, like we said, 10 years, I can't say that before I was into fitness and much more aware of myself, I can't say that I was ever really aware that you had high anxiety or anxiety in general, which is interesting. And don't sweat it, because it took me till I was about 29 years old, which is this year, to realize that I have anxiety. And I don't know if the term is high functioning anxiety, but I mean, my day can be completely crippled because of my anxiety. Now, that's actually not what I struggle with. Well, I take that back. It is what I struggle with. There's more than one thing. But if you ask me the same question, what do you struggle with on a daily basis? I think that it's confidence. Confidence, for some reason, for me, always has been the problem. And this is the first year ever in my life that I've felt the needle moving in the positive direction for my confidence. And I've noticed that even over the past 2-3 months. And I think it's because I'm staying busy, I'm staying positive, I'm staying in my routine. You're going to hear me talk a lot about routines. I have videos on MattLaneFitness about my routine, I think routines are incredible. So I struggle with confidence, but I think I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, and to speak to the routine part, that doesn't mean doing the exact same thing all day, every day. It's just, especially for you, staying on track is something that you struggle with. So a routine, I think, has really helped keep your days on track and accomplishing things.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been going now for about 15, 16 minutes, but Jenna, if you were somebody hearing our voice for the first time, how could we bring value to these people? Let's come up right now with 3 actionable points for them. 3 things that they could start doing today that could improve their overall wellness, happiness. Go ahead with the first one. Just one that makes a difference in your life.
Well, I think number 1, they're listening to something that can provide value to their minds rather than just listening to music. So,
yeah. Okay. So you got 1.
Yeah. So, and truly, I mean, not that it's just, listen to us and
right,
your life will be amazing. But the fact that you're listening to a podcast, probably driving, but the fact that a podcast is even in existence is amazing, that you have the opportunity to feed your mind while you're driving or working out or that sort of thing. I think audiobooks and podcasts are really beneficial rather than just listening to music over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for fitness or wellness, a lot of people go immediately to, I need to get in the gym, and they come by it honestly. I think that's the biggest piece of what a lot of people think fitness is, when the gym or the physical activity is definitely not the biggest piece of it. So I think the second actionable point for yourself is you have to get your mind right before you can get your body right. If you get your mental fitness in order, your physical fitness will follow. I mean, that's how it's worked for me. So the actionable point, I would say, form a routine in the morning. Now, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all routine, but I will tell you my routine, and you can model it after what you think works best for you. I wake up pretty early in the morning, and depending on the day, I do have a regular day job, and then I also run MattLaneFitness. But I'm going to say for the day that I'm working on MattLaneFitness, wake up around 4:30, 5 a.m., and I go to the gym. I go to the gym for about an hour. I stretch afterwards, and then I meditate afterwards. I do guided meditation with an app called Headspace. I think it's like $7 a month, $15 a month, something like that. If you can't afford that, if you don't want to afford that, YouTube has all sorts of meditation videos. Just look up guided meditation, and it's someone talking to you, telling you exactly what to do. And you only have to do it for like 3 to 5 minutes, or you can do it for longer. But for me, it usually only takes a good 5 minutes. So hitting the gym, stretching, meditating, and then I come back to the house. I down about 1 liter of water, and I journal. In this journal, I put my 3 gratitude points, what I'm grateful for. I make my little to-do list, and then I write down how I'm feeling. So I have this little section that says today how I feel. And that's pretty much my routine. It can deviate, the times can change, and that's what's so awesome about it. It's that, yes, it is a routine, but you can bend it. You can move it how you need to. But when you get into this routine, you get into a routine, as ridiculous as that sounds. When I don't do the routine, my days feel off. It's just a precursor to make your day incredible, and then eventually making these small adjustments to big improvements. Yeah. And while we're talking about routines, tell them how yours is, or how is yours different?
So mine isn't as in depth as yours. I mean, when I get up in the morning, I do journal, and it's not as long as yours. It's just 3 bullet points of what I'm grateful for. That starts my mentality for the day of literally just as soon as I wake up, that's what I think of. And often, even as I'm the kind of person that sets 3 alarms in the morning. So while
I know.
So while I'm kind of dozing in between alarms, that's literally what I'm thinking about. So as my brain is waking up, I'm thinking about what I'm grateful for today. And I listened to a podcast not too long ago that encouraged, what am I trying to say? To twist something that you're anxious about or something that's negative and turn it into, I'm grateful for the opportunity to go to work today and deal with this challenging situation.
I remember that pivot point for you. What podcast was that?
I don't know.
No. Well, if I find it, I'll put it in the description, guys.
But really tricking my brain into start thinking that way. I really do turn that negativity into positivity, which also helps decrease my anxiety in the morning. And then I work out for 20 minutes in the morning. And when I first started doing it, my mentality was, I don't want to work out too hard because I don't want to use up all my energy for the day. But as I started to work out and get that routine, I realized that the harder I worked out, the more mentally and physically focused I was for the day. So it wasn't that, by 2:00 I had used up all my energy that my body magically made for the day. It was that my body was more ready for the day, and so was my brain, because I made it work first thing in the morning. So I was sharp and focused when I first got to work.
Yeah. But you down a bunch of water. Like, you beat me when it comes to the water, right?
I do. I drink 2 liters of water before I get to work. I'm out and about and not really in like a stationary area where I can have water with me. So I'm really easily prone to headaches, especially when I start getting dehydrated. So if I get ahead of that in the morning and just down a ton of water, that helps me throughout the day. And water's supposed to be a natural source of energy too. So
yeah. So we've made the first point of filling your mind with good things such as podcasts. The second point was your routine, and the third point, what do you think? I think that it is making sure you are making time for downtime. I could have probably worded that a little better, but I'm terrible about downtime.
I was just about to say, can you look in the mirror when you say that?
So I'll let you talk about the downtime, since you're better versed than I am, but how important it is, because I do know that it is. But take it away.
So I think we're the opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to downtime, because I love my downtime, but I tend to spend my downtime literally all the way down, like doing absolutely nothing productive. Where I feel like you're on the other end of, you can't stop doing things to even think about having downtime.
If we go to the beach or whatever, like, how people lay out, I have a very difficult time doing that. And that's not me saying like I'm such a hustler or I'm so motivated. I have ADHD. I think that's what it really boils down to, but my brain is just always going. And there's pieces of me that I like that about me. But then it can also be a detriment. But having said that, downtime and just why it's so important. I mean, you do an awesome job at very nicely putting it that you have got to take downtime, because it's affected our relationship when I don't take downtime.
Well, and conversely, you've been very kind about saying like, why don't you get off the couch? You've watched 6 episodes of whatever show it is that you're obsessed with right now.
Right.
And I appreciate that too, because I do realize that I, especially previously, have wasted an extraordinary amount of time calling it downtime or mental recovery or whatever, when in reality I've just turned my brain off and don't want to turn it back on.
Yeah. So I think that's it. I think, and those aren't the only points, but those are the ones that are coming to mind. If somebody asked me that, creating your routine, filling your mind with good things, and then making good downtime for yourself. And I know that we'll definitely do that more in the future, but yeah, I wanted to hit those.
Good. Do you have other questions that are going to kind of be in the...
Yeah, I did have one more for, what is something that you wish someone would have told you growing up? Like when you were becoming an adult, and now that you're an adult, now you look back and you're like, why did no one tell me? That would have been so beneficial if they would have told me that. What do you think that is?
There's two things that come to mind.
That's fine.
One is how to manage money.
Right.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I got myself into a world of trouble and struggled getting out of debt in my 30s.
Yeah.
And I wasted some really beneficial, important early years of my career just spending more money than I made. And the other thing that I wish I could go back and tell myself is don't be afraid to be weird. Like, I was so focused on being normal.
That's true.
That I completely disappeared. And
I like that. I like how you put that. That was really good.
It's taken me a long time, especially you, Matt, pulling that out of me, and maybe some public embarrassment to realize that I'm not normal, and I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what is normal? Like, just be yourself.
Yeah, embrace that. Embrace who you are. I mean, fitting in is just awful. I would never want that.
Well, and you can fit in and be liked and be whatever, be popular, be whatever your goals are, and not be normal. Because that's what makes you stand out.
Yeah. If somebody asked me that question of, when you were growing up, what do you wish somebody would have told you? My dad was actually a banker. My mom worked at a credit union. So I had basic knowledge, but I was never taught by anyone how to create financial freedom and, not be a slave to money or bills. And I really wish I would have been told that there was another way. So that's the first thing. And I think the second thing would be that if there is something in your life that you want to do, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, why would you not chase after that with a relentless passion? I mean, we only go around this life once, and why would you spend the time doing something that you hated just to pay bills or for whatever? But when you just think about that in the grand scheme of things, if you live to be 75 years old, that is such a long life to be doing something that you don't like.
But that's the American norm, though. Like, it's normal to hate your job and live for the weekends.
And you know why I think that is? Because that is the norm. The reason that's fit is because that's what it takes to have what is considered the American dream. And it's every bit of that is ingrained in overspending, over leveraging, and then you're chained to the new car, the new house, the clothes, on all that. And then this is something that we have stepped in. I'm not pointing fingers here. This is something that Jenna and I have been in before, but we know we'll never go back to it. Just because it's not where happiness lies.
Right. We've been in the cycle of buying things, trying to find our happiness in food and things, and things that don't provide happiness. They might make you happy for a second, but then you spend the next however long paying off that loan to pay for it. You get in that cycle of, well, now you need something new to provide you happiness, but you're still paying on the last thing. So then you got to go into more debt, which means you have to work the job more that you hate. Yep. And it's that constant, like, you're working behind rather than working ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a piece of my anxiety is actually money. I don't think it's unique, but I feel like it's a little bit different. Money and myself have a very bad relationship that I will talk about in future episodes. And we do have at least one person coming on that's a financial guru, and I can't wait to have him on. But I think that's it for this episode. What do you think? You got anything else?
Yeah. Was that all the questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I can't remember now. It's only been
30 minutes.
Yeah. If we touched on it. But so we're going to have a wide variety of people on our show that we feel like will help contribute in a wide array of ways to life change that leads to happiness, true happiness, not like that instant gratification kind of happiness.
Yeah.
Like a true, long-lasting, life-changing happiness. But to provide some consistency, we're going to be asking some of the same questions to each guest to provide their perspective. And I'm hopeful that, and I'm confident that they're going to provide different answers and kind of provide a unique perspective on how they found happiness and how their perspective can contribute to our happiness and your happiness too.
Yeah. I'm excited. This was good. This was a very good first episode. I hope you guys stuck in with us for the whole 30 minutes. This is going to be a weekly show. Thank you so much, Jenna. This was fun.
It was. I'm glad we're doing it.
Me too. So for the first 8 weeks of this podcast being released, if you leave a review on iTunes and then send me an email at MattLaneFitness@gmail.com saying that you left a review, I will go and verify that you left a review, and then I will send you a free Better Than Yesterday Everyday podcast t-shirt. I'm so excited. Thank you guys. We'll talk to y'all next week.
This has been the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast. We want to thank you for listening and invite you to subscribe to the show as well. And follow MattLaneFitness on YouTube. Until next time, you don't have to be perfect. Just be better than yesterday every day.
Send me an email at MattLaneFitness@gmail.com saying that you left a review. I will go and verify that you left a review, and then I will send you a free Better Than Yesterday Everyday podcast t-shirt. I'm so excited. Thank you guys. We'll talk to y'all next week.
This has been the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast. We want to thank you for listening and invite you to subscribe to the show as well. And follow MattLaneFitness on YouTube. Until next time, you don't have to be perfect. Just be better than yesterday every day.